What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you today from the Rack, my home gym here in Robertsdale, Alabama. I wanted to talk today about getting jacked for summer or spring break, either one. I get a lot of questions about, what's the best, should I lift weights or should I try to burn fat? What's the best course of action to look best? Well, assuming that when this video comes out, it'll be, maybe 3 or so months until summer, that gives you about 12 weeks. Chances are that, at very best case scenario, you might be able to put on 4 or 5 pounds of muscle, and that would be absolute best case scenario. You haven't been training, you're new to training, et cetera, et cetera. However, the chances are very good that you could lose, 10 to 25 pounds of fat. And believe it or not, the muscle underneath your fat, it's gonna look, you're gonna be able to obtain a much better overall look by, focusing on the fat loss while still doing some strength training. It's always good to be strength training in the background. But, you can either be strength training while doing a fat loss phase or strength training while trying to bulk up. The chances of you putting a significant, noticeable amount of muscle difference in a 3 to 4 month period versus the amount of fat that you could possibly lose in that same period is night and day. If you're sitting at 15% body fat and you could get down to 10, you will look completely different. The six pack will be popping, and believe me, you have a six pack underneath whatever, layer of fat may already be existing. So, to peel it back, you're gonna see the results of what's already there. So, I would suggest that if you're trying to get jacked for summer to get, be able to take your shirt off at the beach and feel comfortable and look good and look your absolute best, that your best bet is to focus on weight loss. So, yes, I would definitely advise that you always strength train in the background, but focus on being in a calorie deficit. And then, then the question comes up, should I do more cardio or should I focus on diet? There's pros and cons to either one. If you do more cardio, a lot of times it's going to make you that much hungrier. And then sometimes, it really depends on how your ghrelin signaling is and how you deal with hunger. What kind of tricks you have in your book for, dealing with hunger. When I go into a fat loss phase, the first thing I do is immediately focus on higher volume, low calorie food items. If I was just at a maintenance phase or in a bulking phase, I would be eating, for my carbs, a lot of rice, and I'll switch that over to potatoes, because you can eat about 7 to 8 ounces of potatoes versus 4 or 5 ounces of rice for the same, caloric value. Then as you get deeper into the cut, you may have to cut the potatoes back and turn those into like leafy vegetables. Your broccoli or zucchini, squash, asparagus, things like this. Most of these vegetables range, you can have about 7 to 10 ounces worth for every 50 calories. So that's a significant amount of food for a small amount of calories, able to keep you full, and then plus the fiber, keeps you satiated as well. And then eating things like, rice cakes versus eating chips. Just focusing on low calorie food items. For me, I also like to eat sugar-free Jell-O. It's, unlike liquid that just goes straight through me, the Jell-O tends to sit in my stomach just for a little bit and kind of take that hunger pain away, because it is a semi-solid sort of food. You've also got things like pumpkin, 100% pure pumpkin. Not pumpkin pie filling, but 100% pure pumpkin. A 15-ounce can is only 150 calories. To me, when you mix it in with some meal prep, it tastes quite a lot like sweet potatoes, except it's even lower calorie than sweet potatoes per ounce. So, you can volumize some of your meals by adding a little bit of pumpkin to it. I've done this before in the past. But, what I do is I just literally focus on trying to eat, lower calorie, high volume food items so that I stay satiated and not as worried about food. I start by just simply, lowering my caloric intake. Then as the scale stops to move and I still want to continue, I'll start to add in some extra cardio. For me, I prefer to do, low to moderate intensity cardio versus HIIT cardio. They say that the cardio burn effects are, stick with you for long periods of time after HIIT. That's really not true. There is an afterburn effect, but it's not like 24 hours or 36 hours you're burning a whole bunch of extra calories. And on top of that, the stimulus to fatigue ratio is so high that you wind up starving afterwards, and it's even harder to adhere to a diet when you're doing HIIT cardio, or I found this true for myself. You can always try it for yourself, but for me, I found that low intensity, maybe up to a moderate intensity, steady state cardio, I'm able to burn the calories and not just throw myself into starvation mode, instantly. So what am I talking about when I say low intensity and moderate intensity? Moderate intensity would be something like maybe your elliptical or your art trainer if you're working out at, like a Planet Fitness. Low intensity would be incline walking. This is my personal favorite. Now, I've done quite a lot on the art trainer, but I've also done just as much on setting the treadmill for maximum incline and setting it just to the fastest walking pace that I can really handle, and just burning a ton of calories and not fatiguing myself too much. By not being too fatigued, it doesn't send my ghrelin through the roof, ghrelin being the hunger signaling pains. So, so by focusing on burning some fat and strength training in the background, taking pictures, taking measurements, setting some sort of goal, for the fat to start off at maybe say like, it'll depend on where you're at, whether you be at 10% body fat, 15, 20, 25, whether you're a 200-pound person or 300, you'll have to, scale it to yourself. But, 1 to 3 pounds a week, just depending on where you fall on that scale, male, female, 100, 200, 300 pounds, etc. Will decide, how much weight loss you want to focus on per week. Of course, at the beginning, the weight will come off easier and then it'll start to slow down as the weeks progress. But as long as you stay steady and, you continue to make adjustments as you go, the closer you get to summer, the more fat that you're gonna peel off and the better that you're gonna look. So, if you like the video, click the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos, and leave a comment for the algorithm. And remember, we get better together. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.